Hi, thank you for your question. So my son actually calls me MJ now. He did call me mom, like when he was growing up and stuff. He does still refer to me as his mom, if that makes sense. If my husband and I are at like a school function or something, he'll say, "Oh, this is my dad, Eli. This is my mom, MJ." Like he knows I gave birth to him and stuff. But he generally calls me MJ. When he did call me mom, it didn't really make me feel weird at all. I would have felt a lot more weird if he called me dad. And that's just because that's never been like a role that I've like taken on in my son's life. My son's father has passed away. He was not a fantastic person. However, because he had a father, like that wasn't a designation that I gave myself or anything. And now my son has my husband, who has been a father figure in his life since he was like 5, over half his life now. So it's just not a title that I've ever really felt like I'm associated with in any way. A lot of people will like wish me a happy Father's Day, and I know their intent is good and they're just being kind. So I'll be like, oh, thank you, you know what I mean? But like, I celebrate Mother's Day. In our household, my husband gets Father's Day, I get Mother's Day. There were times in the past where like I didn't necessarily feel weird. I wouldn't say that when he called me mom, but I did feel nervous. Times like if we were like at a public pool or like in the men's room, like places like that. I joke like in the men's room when he'd like call me mom, I'd be like, "Oh, we'll go get your mother soon, little boy." No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nobody take me seriously. But no, in situations like that, it could potentially be dangerous. So in those situations, I did feel nervous. I wasn't gonna tell me he couldn't call me something, you know what I mean? Because he's just a kid. I don't really feel like it's appropriate for me to be like, you can't call me this or you need to call me this in certain social situations. Also, there's the fact that my son, he was not even verbal until like 5, and even then, like he might say a few words. One of those words was mama. So I was just glad he said anything at all. He addressed me as anything. For a long time, he called my husband Susan, and we were ecstatic. He was calling him something. He was talking. I am proud of my son though, because I think the fact that he decided to start calling me MJ shows like a high level of like maturity and a large amount of like social awareness. I definitely do think he started calling me MJ more because he feels like it's more appropriate. He knows that I'm trans. He knows that in certain situations, like it's safer, it's probably less awkward. And but I'm very proud of him that he had the ability to like recognize those things and make a change like that. My son also surprisingly never misgenders me ever. He always refers to me as he, although he says I'm a boy and not a man. But he calls me he though, which is very impressive to me because like I am not always good with people's pronouns. Like I am not always good at getting pronouns right and stuff. So for my son to like all the time get it right, like I mean that's impressive. I'm impressed.